Don't speak Japanese in your day. How many men have you slept with? This question equals to how many boyfriends have you had. And Japanese girls don't have absolutely any problem with ghosting you. And you are, let's say, an 8 in your country. Here you will probably be a 7 or a 6. A Japanese man your age will have access probably to a bigger number of women. And there are even some apps in Japan that are just for married people. She was looking at my soul. She was not even blinking. So a little bit about me. I've had several Japanese girlfriends over the years. My first girlfriend actually was Japanese. I've been living with Japanese women, and I'm a teacher in a high school just for girls, 15, 16, 17 and 18-year-old girls. And I've been studying and working with Japanese women, and all this knowledge that I have, I'm gonna share with you. I've had so many dates that I definitely cannot remember the names of all the girls I've been in dates with. So let's do this. Where to meet them? If you are in Japan, of course, you can go directly and talk to them, but they will most likely be very shy. Why? Because most Japanese don't speak very good English, and even if they do, they are very, very afraid to speak. Depending on the person, maybe if they have a lot of interest and you are very good, doing what is called in Japanese nampa, which means just go and talk to a girl directly. If you are very good at that, then maybe you will have some success, but don't forget that most of them are very shy and they might be afraid if you approach them. So, applications. The one that works the best, I think, is Bumble. Bumble works great. Then there's also Tandem. Tandem is not an application to meet. I mean, it's not a dating app. It's a language exchange app. But you can also meet people there. They are also usually quite open. And the good thing about this app, about Tandem, is like there will be more men than women. But the ratio will not be as bad as Bumble or definitely Tinder. Tinder is the worst one. Don't try Tinder. Tinder doesn't work. The ratio of men, women is extra, super high. And there are many, people who are just looking for money, or prostitutes or something like that. So Bumble, Tandem doesn't work bad. And also, if you are living in Japan, there's this app called Pairs, which is good, but you have to pay for it. But allows you to search by body type and other things that regular apps don't allow you to. Japanese don't have as many boundaries in that regard as we have in the Western world. When you join Pairs, they ask you for your income. And there are even some apps in Japan that are just for married people. This is so interesting. Looks like a cheating app. And you can also go to meetups. There's many meetups in Tokyo, for like language exchange parties, so to say. And over there, the good thing is that you will not have as much competition as you have in dating apps. Places or apps I don't recommend. Tinder, as I've told you, I think it doesn't work in most cases. And Tokyo clubs, go clubbing in Tokyo looking for a nice Japanese lady that's looking for foreigners and this and that. I don't recommend it. Unless you are a very good, a party animal that really knows how to move in that environment and, regardless of the country or whatever, I don't recommend it. And also the kind of girls that will go to a club, are not, how can I say, high quality. I don't know, it's not a good word, but you know what I mean. Okay, let's talk about their mentality. Point number 1, they are usually less promiscuous. Their body count is lower than a Western or, an American, European girl. Usually, we are talking in general terms, but they are usually less promiscuous. Point number 2, they are less provocative. They don't dress in, with very, very, very short skirts and, with big, no. They are more conservative in their way of dressing. Third point, they are usually very feminine compared to other countries, even to other countries in Asia. The way they move, the way they talk, it's like... I remember the other day, I was in the supermarket and the cashier was just taking, the way she was taking my products and moving them from here to there, and their pose and the neck and the hair, it was like just amazing. The way she talked and her reactions, this was like very, very so nice to see. So you have to take that into account. Maybe you will be mesmerized by it. Keep your, try to keep some control over it. This is never good. If she sees that you are so like, maybe she won't respect you a lot. So, yeah, less provocative, less promiscuous, more feminine. Fourth point, this also has connection with the rest. If they like you, the signals that they will give you will be more scarce and subtle. They will not touch your neck or touch your arm or something like. If a Japanese girl touches your arm even a little bit, that's a bit. You can be 100% sure that she really likes you. Their signals are usually more subtle. She won't say like, "Oh, why don't we go and have a drink someday?" No, she will not say that. She will ask way, in a more subtle way. She will reply to your messages more often and these things. And these you have to, but also, they are very polite. Japanese are very polite. Don't, and here you have to find this point, this balance. Don't misunderstand politeness with interest. Like if you go and talk to a Japanese girl you don't know, she will be very polite towards you. But that doesn't mean she likes you. But if you keep on talking with her and then you have maybe the chance of meeting her again several days, if you start noticing a little bit of interest, then maybe you can ask her for a date. See what happens. This is also another interesting thing. Once they are in a relationship, they usually have a greater tolerance for infidelity. This depends also a lot on the person, but let me give you an example. There was one day in class I was with my high school students, and they are like 16 years old. We were doing an exercise about how would you like your boyfriend to be and this and that, and they were talking about that in English. It was very interesting. And I remember there was one girl, well, not one girl, actually a group of girls, because they were doing this exercise in a group, who said to me that to them it was not that important that their partner didn't cheat. Like, as long as they were number one, these were their exact words. As long as I am number one, I don't care if there's number 2 and 3 and 4 or whatever. Not all the groups were like this. There were other groups that gave more importance and said, no, if he cheats, I don't want him. But just that there's one group of girls, I'd say like around 20% of the class, did not give that much of an importance to cheating. So this is very interesting, because in Spain and other countries in the West, this would be a no-go, like 100%. So next point, this is very important. If you are not attractive in your country, you won't be attractive in Japan. Actually, if you're a man and you are, let's say, an 8 in your country, here you will probably be a 7 or a 6. Maybe if you speak Japanese, you will be a 7. If you don't speak Japanese, you will be a 6. So this is important for you to understand. Your value as a man will go down. But here's the interesting thing. Usually, the value of Western women that come to Japan goes up. So if by any chance you're a woman looking at this video, if you are, let's say, a 7 in your country, you're at least an 8 or even a 9 here. So this is very, very interesting. I've seen girls that in their own country, that they are not attractive, to be honest. But the boys that they were dating here were up, like way up their level. So if you're a man, unless you have blue eyes and you're blonde, that's something that they really like. Unless you have blue eyes and blonde hair, probably, your value is going to go down. If you have blue eyes and blonde hair, maybe your value will stay the same. Don't think that, if I go to Japan, I'm going to be so popular because I'm from the West and I'm a little bit strong and wow, they will be crazy about me. Well, maybe no. So anyway, why does this happen? Well, first of all, because you are not immersed in the culture. So you will have fewer opportunities. A Japanese man your age will have access probably to a bigger number of women. That's the first point. Second point, you won't be able to speak the language as fluently as you'd need to, attract a Japanese girl. And that's, usually you don't attract women by your looks. Women don't attract other women just by the way we look. We need to talk. They give a lot of importance to that. And when you are in this seduction game, if you don't know how to speak well and fast, and you have to think constantly, and you are very slow in the way you speak, and you don't know how to convey your words in a fast, effective way. But the thing here is that even if you speak Japanese fluently, it won't be easy for you to attract a woman just by just using Japanese. Because this pickup game requires you to know what you're saying, how you're saying, and control so many factors that if you are not capable of speaking and you are not very immersed in the culture, it's going to be very difficult for you. So the number of women you will have access to will be more limited. Most of them will actively be looking for foreigners. Why? Because probably either they've been already abroad, they've been either living abroad, or they really like, Western countries, or, Europe or America or whatever. Or point number two, they've had a bad experience with a Japanese man. And usually once they get into that game, then their mind is quite open, even if the next relationship with a foreigner fails. But if they don't have their mind open to this, it gets quite complicated. But probably you most likely won't meet those kind of women. They will not be interested in you. They won't be in the apps. They won't go to meetups and language exchange things and all this. So, next point, this is important. Their approach to a relationship is not so much like in the West. I think that the approach in the West is, okay, we have a relationship and we are good like this. Maybe we will have children in the future, maybe we'll marry, but it's not very important to move fast. We are just enjoying our time together and this and that. That's more or less the mindset in the West. But here the mindset is a little bit different. Here, the relationship is just one more step towards having a family and then having kids. A Japanese girl doesn't want to stay like 10 years or 5 years or 6 years or 7 years, just, being boyfriend and girlfriend, or even marrying and not moving forward. They want to move forward. They want to go to the next step. And they are, as I've told you before, quite traditional in this regard compared to other countries, especially in Europe. Europe is a little bit of a mess in this regard. Like the other day, I was reading this very interesting data that said that Spanish women, less than 20% of Spanish women are interested in having a family. They want to focus on their career. So 80% of Spanish young women, want to focus on their career. Just 20%, I believe it was less than 20%, it was 16% want to focus on having a family. So this is not like this in here. Okay, so now you have your date. What to do? Some advice I'm going to give you, very, very valuable. So listen to this. First of all, even if you speak Japanese, don't speak Japanese in your date. Go for the English. That's my advice. Why? Because with English, you will look like she will subconsciously have some admiration for you. But if it's the other way around and you are the one speaking in Japanese and she is, of course, maybe even if your Japanese is not bad and you know how to speak and you know how to convey your thoughts, whatever, even in that case, try the date, try to speak English during the date. Okay, this is quite important. It doesn't mean that if you speak Japanese, it's gonna go down. But as long as possible, try to speak English. But this is very important. Listen to this. This is extremely important. Some of these girls in these apps, they don't speak English. And it looks like when you talk to them, it looks like they speak way better than they actually do. Once you meet them, Japanese are good at writing, or maybe like their reading comprehension is not bad when it comes to English. But when it comes to talking, they are not good. They are usually very shy. They are, very self-conscious. They don't want to make mistakes. So when you are talking with her in the app, I would really recommend you to speak a little bit of Japanese. Because if you don't speak any Japanese, probably she will not want to go on a date with you unless she's very confident of her English. So just, some few words here and there that she feels a little bit okay. If she doesn't feel this Japanese safety net, your chances of getting to the date will be almost none. So what should you do once you get there? The first thing is, of course, konnichiwa, hi, hello. Don't go for a hug, don't do these crazy things, because Japanese are not used to physical touch as much as we are in the West, even in a date. So, first thing, try to assess her English level. Do you speak English? Try your English to be as easy to understand as possible, and start moving. Start moving, because people, when move, according to research, it's easier to talk moving than to talk just staying there, and no, that will make it maybe a little bit awkward. So just pick a place where you can show her around. Don't make, a new place. I've never been here. No. Pick a place and you can guide her. Women really like that. I'm sure you know this. So pick a place, you can guide her. And then start talking in very simple English. Assess her English level. Maybe throw some Japanese here and there. But you have to be the one that controls the language the most. This is very, 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 very important. So this is very important once you're on the date. You will not know whether you are progressing or not. You won't know if you are moving in the right direction or not. Why? Because she will make you feel very good. She will probably agree with everything you say. Her reactions will be on point, perfect. She will react to everything you say like you are. She will make you feel very good. She will make you feel very good even if she doesn't like you. Because Japanese girls are very, 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 very good at this. You won't know her true feelings. So this has happened to so many men that they contact me, they want some advice. And this has happened to so many of them. Even to me in the beginning, this used to happen to me a lot. You will come back home thinking that the date was great. The date was amazing. Oh, perfect. She really likes me. And then boom. And then she blocks you. You take a look at the app and where is she? No. Or maybe you had her line and then blocked forever. Or maybe if she doesn't block you, she doesn't reply to you. She doesn't want to have contact with you anymore. She doesn't, it's like she basically vanished. She ghosts you. And Japanese girls don't have absolutely any problem with ghosting you. No problem. They don't feel any shame for that. If they don't like you, you will know right away. But not during the date. During the date, you will feel great and they will probably make you feel great. So don't forget this. So here you have to bear in mind that in this context, lying doesn't have such a bad connotation as in the West. So they will have absolutely no problem omitting or hiding sometimes even important information. So don't forget this. Another thing you should know, I've mentioned this a little bit before, but here they are not as used to casual relationships as we are in the West. Let's imagine that your date went really well. So you kissed, and then maybe you had one date and the date went good. Second date, you kissed her. Third date, you invite her to your house. Before having something, a fun time, most likely, most girls will ask you, or if they don't ask you and you had some fun time, they will assume that you are boyfriend and girlfriend. Because in a Japanese woman's mind, again, one night stands or casual relationship, even though, in Bumble, there's a lot of people that have already had some experience with this. Even, there are some divorced women. With divorced women, casual relationships are not that, rare. But even in this context, in a Japanese woman's mind, if she has a sexual relationship with you, she will consider you as her boyfriend. You have to know this. Again, they are not very promiscuous. They might conceal information, but they are not going to be like, oh yeah, let's be sex friends. No. It has happened to me. I'm not gonna lie to you, it has happened to me. I've had plenty of experiences. But it's not the usual thing. Unless she is like very open-minded and she has already been abroad and she is like Also, if she's a normal girl, I've told you, forget about having sex in the first date. Even in the second date, that's gonna be fast for a Japanese girl. They are not like super pure. This also you have to know. They are not like in the anime, like they might look like that, but there's a lot of things underneath. There's a lot, they know what they are looking for. They have absolutely no problem, as I've told you before, in blocking you, erasing you, or even lying to you. So don't be like fooled by that femininity and that image that you have about anime girls and this and that. No, 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 no. But also, talking about, the boyfriend and girlfriend thing. Sometimes they will ask you, but that's just a formality because Japanese like doing things in a certain way. Everything they do, there's a correct and appropriate way of doing it. And they will ask you, but that doesn't mean that they will take that relationship very seriously. So they will ask you, we are boyfriend and girlfriend, right? Yes, yes, okay, yes, we are. And then in your mind, you think, okay, this is gonna be serious. Okay, she wants a serious relationship. She asked me, so this is going somewhere, definitely, for sure. But maybe in her mind, this was just, a formality. Did she ask you this and she wanted this reassurance to make herself feel good for something that maybe she doesn't want to do, but she needed this? This is also another interesting thing. The question, how many men have you slept with? This question in Japan equals to how many boyfriends have you had? Plain and simple. Usually the ones I've had earlier success with were, and by earlier success, I mean exactly what you are thinking about now. Either they were divorced or they had been abroad already. So let's say that the dates went well. This maybe is your first, second, third day, whatever, and you invite her to your house. If she agrees, like for a Japanese woman or an Asian woman in this regard, most of the time, if she goes to your apartment, that this is a big deal. This for them is like almost like having sex, as important as having sex. If she's coming to your house just with you two alone, oh, this is not like in the West. Sometimes they don't take this as seriously, but here going to a man's house for them is important. And let's say that you had dinner and you are very relaxed in the sofa, and then you start, things go good and better, and this is, oh, yeah, this is gonna be great. Resistance from her to you is not as stigmatized as in the West. So she might say something that catches you by surprise. Something like, oh, I don't know if we should do this. Oh, really? Oh, no. Oh, and the sounds she will make, the sounds she will make sometimes will make you think that like she's being too overwhelmed. Her voice will change and she will make you feel like you are, this strong man, going after her. But this is just a game. You have to know that resistance in this regard, or her reactions in this regard, the culture is different. Maybe even she will say no, and if she says no, you're a Western man, you will stop, dead stop, 100%. But maybe this has happened to me before. She said no, and then okay, hands up, and then she was like, "Why are you stopping?" So don't forget this. Okay, so you got into a relationship now. Let's talk a little bit about this. First of all, they will most likely be less affectionate than a Western girl. That means less hugs and less kisses overall, okay? They are not very used to that. Even maybe because you're a foreigner, they will have their mind, more open in this regard, but usually they will be less affectionate than a Western girl. Second point, most likely you will have fewer arguments, but there is some girls who have a lot of mental issues, hidden mental issues that will just come out once you spend more time with them. and once you get into a relationship with them. Here, there's this problem called hysteria. Like they become like they will throw even things. Or I had a friend that she got so mad that she broke his pajamas out of madness, not a passionate thing, you see. So some of them have this, they give you one face, and then once you get into the relationship, they can radically change, much more than a Western woman would. Because a Western woman is not so worried about giving you her best face from the beginning, like 100% pleasing you from the beginning. But I'd say overall, if she doesn't have deep issues, I'd say that there will be less arguments. Also, another interesting thing for me, as a Spanish, is like they usually need less contact with their family. Japanese, they start living by themselves when they are 18, and even though sometimes they are in the same city as their family, they don't feel the necessity to talk with them very often. And this for me was a little bit shocking because, Spanish culture, we are quite close usually with our families, and you have to take this into account when you are thinking long term. So I think that Japanese women usually want to have children earlier. And as I've told you before, they don't want to be like 10 years or 8 years in the relationship before having children. I don't think this is the case for most of them. Also, another thing you have to know is that when you look at the statistics, when you look closely at the statistics, you will see that Japanese women, Western men, the divorce rate is lower than Japanese with Japanese. But the other way around, Japanese men with a Western women, the divorce rate is higher. Don't be cheated, because there's so many people that say, oh no, the divorce is higher between foreigner and Japanese. No, look closely at the statistics and you will see. Also, I have to say that sometimes they have big mental issues, and this usually happens with the ones that you can have sex earlier. I'm going to tell you an anecdote very, very, very quickly, but I had one experience with this girl that looks like a horror story. I've never been more in tension, and I've been in so many crazy situations with women, but this Japanese woman, she was like, there was one day where I was telling her that we could not continue. She didn't want a serious relationship, and she was okay with this and that. And I said, okay, I'm okay with that as well. But I was starting to notice that her feelings towards me were very getting stronger and stronger, and this is gonna end bad for her, especially. She's gonna suffer a lot. So I decided to finish it. And I remember the way she looked at me when I was telling this to her, and she was like, her hair was down here, and she was looking at my soul. She was not even blinking, and then the tears started coming out from her eyes. That experience was like, just there was so much tension. I didn't know what she was gonna do. That was a very, very complicated situation, and just don't forget about this. Some of them have deep, before you get into a relationship, even before you go any further with them, some of them have very, very deep mental issues. And it's so difficult for you to see this just in the first date or the second date. Unless you date her longer, you won't be able to notice this. But once you do, that might shock you. So my advice is just look closely. Of course, have fun, whatever, but always look very closely. Pay a lot of attention and be careful. So let's talk about the funny business. A little things, okay? Important, so you have some more knowledge. First thing, they are less passionate usually. The mindset of a Western woman, I'd say, is something like, I'm gonna show you how good I am. The mindset of a Japanese woman is more like, I'm all yours. Do with me whatever you want. You are the king of the castle. I'm gonna make you feel like a Superman. And the mindset of a Western woman is more like, I am a superwoman, and you will see how good of a superwoman I am. This is usually, we are talking general terms, but Noise levels. Noise levels are usually higher, and the voice changes in a very interesting way. So overall, less passionate, higher noise levels, different mindset, and in a relationship, I'd say less frequency. Yeah, that was everything, my friend. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you have any more questions, just feel free to ask me.